As a physician, there is one piece of standard medical advice that I now dread hearing people give to seniors. Just take a deep breath. It sounds completely innocent, doesn't it? We hear it in movies, we read it in wellness magazines, and well-meaning family members repeat it whenever we feel a bit overwhelmed or uneasy. But in our golden years, forcing a massive deep breath can actually act like a false alarm to your nervous system. Instead of soothing you, it triggers the exact physical panic you are desperately trying to escape. Today, we are tearing down this dangerous, widespread myth. We are going to look at what your maturing nervous system actually needs to feel safe, calm, and grounded. Because the truth is, your lungs might be accidentally lying to your brain. Let me paint a picture that might feel incredibly familiar to you. Imagine you are sitting in your favorite armchair. The house is quiet, the evening is peaceful, and you have absolutely no reason to feel stressed. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a wave of tightness washes over your chest. Your heart starts to thumping against your ribs. Your immediate instinct, the one we've all been taught, is to open your mouth and take a massive gulping inhale of air to regain control. But instead of feeling better, the room feels a little unsteady. Your fingers might begin to tingle, and that subtle wave of unease instantly mutates into a full-blown state of dread. You think to yourself, why is this happening to me? My life is stable. I am safe. So why is my body acting like I'm in immediate danger? If you have experienced this, I want you to take a moment and just let this sink in. You are not losing your mind, and your body is not broken. What you are experiencing isn't an emotional failing, and it isn't just a symptom of getting older. It is a specific, hidden chemical reaction. It's caused by an overhyped wellness trend that simply does not look at how a senior's biology changes over time. When we try too hard to force our bodies to be calm, our biological systems interpret that intense force as a threat. The harder you fight to grasp that air, the tighter the knot in your chest becomes. It becomes a vicious, exhausting cycle that steals the peace you've worked your entire life to enjoy. To understand why that heavy, gasping breath backfires, we have to look at how our bodies change over time. As we cross into our 60s and 70s, our nervous system undergoes a natural transformation. The biological structures that manage our stress responses become far more sensitive. Think of your nervous system as an exquisitely tuned home security system. When we are younger, that system requires a massive, genuine threat to trip the alarm. But as the years pass, the sensors become incredibly delicate. A sudden, sharp change in your breathing pattern can accidentally trigger the entire system, sending a false signal to your brain stem that you are in immediate physical danger. This brings us to a fascinating biological phenomenon known as the oxygen paradox. Most people believe that when they feel anxious, their body is starved of oxygen, so they need to pull in as much air as humanly possible. But biologically, the exact opposite is true. Your brain does not determine its need to breathe by measuring oxygen. It determines it by measuring carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide isn't just a waste product. It is the biological gatekeeper that commands your red blood cells to release oxygen into your brain, heart, and muscles. When you experience a sudden wave of worry and respond by taking a massive, gulping inhale, you inadvertently breathe out far too much carbon dioxide. You completely flush out the gatekeeper. Without that vital gas in your bloodstream, your blood cells hold onto their oxygen tightly, refusing to let it go. The ironic, startling result? By trying to force more air into your lungs, you are actually depriving your brain of the very oxygen it needs to feel calm. This sudden drop in oxygen is precisely what causes your fingers to tingle, your head to spin, making everything feel unsteady, and your chest to tighten into a knot. It is a purely chemical reaction, not a mental failure. Discovering this single biological truth is what completely transforms how we approach senior wellness. It allows us to stop fighting our bodies and finally start working with our changing biology to reclaim the deep, unshakable peace we deserve in our golden years. If this realization brings a sense of relief to your heart, please take a brief moment to subscribe to Golden Glow Senior. By joining our gentle community today, you ensure that you never have to navigate these overwhelming changes alone. Now that we understand why forcing these deep breaths acts like a chemical trap, we need to know what to do instead. In our next video, we are going to break down an effortless, gentle breathing adjustment that signals safety to your brain. If forcing a massive, deep breath is actually starving your brain of oxygen and triggering anxiety, what is the alternative? How do we calm a hypersensitive senior nervous system without accidentally tripping the biological alarm? The secret lies in shifting our focus entirely. Instead of trying to force your lungs to expand to their absolute limit, we must learn the art of the gentle invite. We need to shift away from deep breathing and move towards slow, soft breathing. When anxiety strikes, your body is essentially locked in a state of high alert. It feels like you are trying to push against a heavy, locked door. If you try to ram it open with a massive gulp of air, the door just pushes back harder. But if you step back and gently turn the handle, the door slides open effortlessly. That handle is your exhalation. When we look at clinical research specifically focused on anxiety, panic disorders, and the nervous system, the findings are incredibly consistent. It isn't the size of the inhale that calms the heart. It is the length and smoothness of the exhale. Every time you take a sharp, forced breath in, your heart rate actually speeds up slightly. But every single time you slowly, gently let your breath out, you stimulate the vagus nerve. This nerve acts like a natural brake pedal for your nervous system. It instantly tells your heart to slow down, signals your blood vessels to relax, and tells your brainstem that the imaginary emergency is officially over. But there is a very specific way to do this that prevents you from falling back into the deep breathing trap. It requires moving away from forcing calm and moving toward what I call softening into the present moment. Here is exactly how we practice this gentle softening. First, if you can, close your mouth and breathe in very gently through your nose. Do not try to fill your lungs completely, just let the air flow in naturally. Then pause for just a brief, comfortable second. And now, here is the critical part. Let your exhale stretch out. Gently invite your out-breath to be noticeably longer than your in-breath. Imagine you are slowly blowing out a tiny candle across the room, so gently that the flame flickers but doesn't go out. It shouldn't feel like work. It should feel like a sigh of relief, letting your shoulders drop and your chest soften. By simply lengthening that exhale, you are actively keeping your carbon dioxide levels perfectly balanced. You are keeping the biological gatekeeper in place, ensuring that fresh oxygen is delivered straight to your brain. But what if you try this, and the moment you change your breathing, you still feel a sudden, terrifying wave of panic? What if your body refuses to soften, and the anxiety seems to push back even harder? This brings us to what is perhaps the most shocking, counterintuitive medical truth about senior anxiety. It takes place entirely inside your mind. In our next video, we are going to expose this hidden trap, and I will share the single most powerful shift in perspective that can instantly disarm a panic attack, even when your breathing feels completely locked. Thank you for being here with me on Golden Glow Senior. Take care, and I will see you in the final part. We have arrived at the absolute core of our journey today, and what I am about to share with you is perhaps the most shocking truth about senior anxiety. It is a revelation that completely flips traditional wellness advice on its head, and it is the exact tool you need when your body refuses to calm down. When you are caught in a wave of sudden panic, the single worst thing you can do is try to force yourself to be calm. Let that sink in for a moment. As a physician, I am telling you, stop trying to force calmness. When you tell an anxious mind to calm down right now, you are accidentally entering a war with your own biology. Your brain interprets that struggle as proof that you are attacked. The secret isn't gaining more control. It is surrendering the illusion entirely. Imagine your mind contains a dashboard, and on it is a giant dial labeled Control. When panic hits, your instinct is to crank it up to 10. You fight the sensation, you grip the arms of your chair, and you desperately try to force your breath to slow down. But the harder you twist that dial, the tighter your chest becomes. It's a broken dial. Instead of fighting with that, I want you to look right next to it. There is a second dial, the willingness dial. Willingness means saying, "It is okay that I am feeling this right now. I am completely safe, and I am willing to let my body ride this wave." When you turn up the willingness dial, you instantly take all the fuel away from the anxiety fire. You are no longer fighting, you are allowing a passing storm. To do this effectively, I want you to step out of the role of the victim and step into the role of a curious scientist. Imagine you are an explorer. Instead of judging the feeling as bad, simply describe it with curiosity. Where did this tightness start? Is it warm or cold? Is it a weight or a flutter? By shifting into curiosity, you do something miraculous. You shift processing out of the panicked amygdala and back into the logical prefrontal cortex. You aren't forcing your body to change. You are gently guiding it back to reality. By combining this willingness with gentle exhales, you create an unshakable shield of biological safety. You teach your system it no longer needs the alarm. If you want to ensure these strategies are always within reach, please take a moment to subscribe to Golden Glow Senior right now. Honor your body and thrive with grace. Now, how do we weave these tools into our daily routines so they become second nature? We do this through the morning and evening alignment. You shouldn't wait for a wave of panic to practice. We want to practice when we are already safe, creating a reliable reservoir of calm. Every morning, as you sit on the edge of your bed, spend 60 seconds practicing the softening breath. Inhale gently and let out 3 long, slow exhales. Then, every evening, after you turn off the lights, spend 60 seconds turning up your willingness dial. Tell yourself, "My body is safe, I am willing to let go." This simple 2-minute investment changes your baseline biology over time, keeping your nervous system perfectly balanced. My dear friends, growing older is a magnificent privilege, and your golden years should be defined by peace, wisdom, and vibrant joy, not by struggle. Next time anxiety calls, do not fight it. Look inward, lengthen your exhale, and trust the wisdom of your biology. You have the tools to reclaim your sanctuary. Thank you for spending this sacred time with me on Golden Glow Senior. I am Dr. Linda Harrington, sending you warmth and peace. Take gentle care, and I will see you soon.